we also have to take responsibility for why people are not voting. So if I go to McDonald's and I say, hey, I want a bacon cheeseburger, and they give me a bacon cheeseburger, but then it's all of this stuff on it I don't really like. Is it my fault or is it their fault? Well, I didn't tell them what I like. And so they gave me what I asked for. It's the same thing with politics. We're in a situation where we have a bad product. We have a very bad product when it comes to politics, because we're asking people to vote, but then they're looking around their community and the community still looks the same. We're asking people, especially Black people, to go and vote, but then we see that we're the primary ones incarcerated. We're the ones with the highest debt. We're the ones that's dying of everything first. Nobody is really fighting first. It's all of these things. So we have to really start to make this message make sense to the people. We cannot just tell people go and vote.
Hey guys, it's your boy DB with the Soul of a Man podcast. I am here tonight with my wonder twin, Chill. Chill, what's good, brother?
It's all good. It's all good. How you doing, man?
You know what, man? If I were any better, I'd be twins. So, man, how you coming in tonight, brother?
Coming in pretty good. Long work week already on just one day, but such is the life of city politics and government.
There you go. You know what? I guess a long work week already beats no work week at all. I know there's some people who would probably kill to be in our position, so there's no complaints.
None, absolutely none at all. I've been down that road before too. So to be blessed, to be working and working, able to give back to my city, blessed.
No doubt. Well, look, guys, tonight we have an amazing special guest on with us. She's a dynamic leader. She's a strategist, advocate for community empowerment, public service, and systems change. This is the one thing we won't hold against her. She began her education journey at South Carolina State University.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
We won't hold that against her.
Didn't they steal our mascot? Didn't they steal our mascot?
I think they did.
Yeah.
So we'll let them have that, and it's all HBCU love.
Absolutely.
But she's a graduate of South Carolina State University, where she earned her degree in psychology. And from there, she went on to UNC Charlotte and earned her master's in public administration. She's worked for more than 20 years in leadership within the healthcare realm, within hospital administration, and all sorts of community engagement. The one thing that I found really interesting when reading up on our guest tonight, in 2019, she made history as the first Black woman to chair the Mecklenburg County ABC board in its 75-year history.
Oh, wow.
So not the second, not the third, the absolute first Black woman to chair that Mecklenburg County ABC board. So
Wow.
That is an amazing task.
Yeah.
She also is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Of course.
She is known to many as Monifa, but she's also affectionately known to others as Mo.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Soul of a Man podcast, Miss Mo Drayton. Mo,
Yes.
welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. And, I was, until you started reading the accolades, I was going to log off since you had the South Carolina State joke. But I'm going to, you recovered well. So I'll stay. I'll hang out with you a little longer.
We have to give those that attended second tier HBCUs, which is everybody except for us.
I think I have a bad connection.
Well, look, Mo, we certainly appreciate you joining us.
Yes.
This is your episode, And so as a guest to our show and now family, we would just love to hear about, I mean, I think our audience has heard about all those great accolades. We'd like to learn a little bit more about you, anything you want to share in terms of family dynamics, additional accolades that I didn't go over, whatever that looks like. This is the floor belongs to you.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you all so much for inviting me on this podcast. I absolutely love the platform and love what you all are doing, especially. So I'm from Buffalo, New York, born and raised. I'm a huge Buffalo Bills fan. If you're not a Bills fan, you're probably second tier to me. So I can't, you just can't sit in the VIP seat if you're not of my life, if you're not a Bills fan. Let's see. My dad is a pastor, so I grew up very, very deep in the church. I got a lot of siblings. And so we definitely gave my dad a run for his money as the preacher, as we call him. So we definitely gave him the run for his money. I come from an incredible family, though. My parents have been married longer than I've been alive. Wow. They are two of the most prominent and most critical people in my life. When I was running for office, my mom was on the phone banks and my dad was standing out at the cold 20-degree weather here in Charlotte, passing out my information, and they were critical to my win. So that's really it about me. As you said, I went to South Carolina State University, graduate school, UNC Charlotte. Just love life. I love playing golf. Got a lot of nieces and nephews. So I just love life. I am one who truly enjoys life. When you work in healthcare, you see the other side of life. You see the end of it. And so it gives you a certain appreciation for the living and for being on this side of heaven, I'll say.
Got it.
Wow. So we'll get started and we'll dive right in. I'm curious to know, and when you and I met last week, I didn't even discuss this with you. Actually, it just came to me today. But two things. Why and how did you get into politics?
So I'll be honest with you. I've always loved politics. And I'll tell you, my very first political debate was when I was 8 years old with my grandmother. We were talking about the Kennedy assassination. And my grandmother, who is a brilliant woman, she, showed me these documents that she had. They were like on a typewriter. She was convinced that they were the Secret Service documents that she received from the Kennedy assassination. And so that was really my first, she kept them hidden and she said, I don't know if these are real or not, but this is where they are. And so she always kept them hidden, but she showed them to me. And so from that point, I've always loved politics. I've always watched my parents go and vote. I didn't understand what voting was, but like I said, I have a lot of siblings, so that was their date night. So I would watch them get all dressed up and go to the polls, and I guess that was their only moment away from us because they knew they couldn't take us to the polls with them. And so that gave me my whole oh yeah, voting is a really good thing. Like my mom would put her heels on and all kind of things. So that was really my first introduction into politics. And then when I was in college, my line sister, her mom, I went home with her for one of the breaks, and she said, Mo, help me put these signs out. My mom is running for office, and it was Atlanta heat. It was so hot. We were putting all these campaign signs out, and we went to her campaign office. It was just incredible. That was really my first experience. I thought, this is amazing. And then lastly, Senator Valencia C., my line sister's mom, she came to Charlotte one time, and I can't remember if it was the Democratic National Convention or the Congressional Black Caucus, but she invited me to go with her. And as a little girl from the east side of Buffalo, I had never seen anything like that. And so when I walked in the room, I saw it was just all of these Black politicians in ball gowns, and it was an amazing, John Lewis. That was all of these people that were there. And I thought, okay, how am I going to get here?
Right.
Like little Black girls from Buffalo don't see things like this from the east side of Buffalo. We don't see these kind of things. How can I get here? Mm-hmm. And that's how I got started.
Wow. Well, you must have a incredible, kind and loving heart to have been in the medical realm for the time that you have, but also to really be a public servant in the role that you currently serve in now. It takes a special kind of person to give back that way.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I like to think I'm pretty kind too. So I appreciate you saying that. But I love the work though. I love people. And I just have a certain passion and compassion for people. So I've always loved the work.
And as a Buffalo Bills fan, you must
Come
have a
on.
lot of you must have a lot of patience as well.
Listen, faith, patience, belief, never give up, tenacity, whatever you want to say, fortitude, perseverance. I could go on and on what it takes to, faith. Faith is the thing because every year we say the same thing. We'll get next year.
Right.
So I'm a
That's it.
firm believer of that. If it didn't happen today, it may happen tomorrow. Just keep staying the course.
Got it. Let me ask you this. Let's go back really quick to the Mecklenburg County ABC board and being the chair of that. How did that come about? What made you decide to go that route out of all things? Talk about that just a bit.
So I had reached out. I wanted to get more involved in the community. So I reached out to, at the time, the chair of the county commission, because that's how you're appointed to all of the advisory boards, either county commission or city council. And I reached out to him and said, hey, Commissioner Dunlap, I'd like to get involved. And he was giving me a list of things. And he said, well, have you ever thought about the ABC board? And I was like, my dad is going to love this as the preacher. Like now I'm out here peddling liquor. He's going to love this. And so I said, no, I hadn't. He said, well, look into it. He said, well, there's really a huge social responsibility piece to the ABC board. And I said, okay. So when I looked into it, that's actually what drew me was all of the money, all that they do for the community. So every time you purchase a bottle, and I'm not encouraging you to purchase anything, but if you should, every time you purchase a bottle, a portion of those proceeds go back into the community. So we support about 62 nonprofit organizations. And the only requirement is that they have to have a wellness initiative, like alcohol prevention, substance abuse prevention, education, something along those lines. And that really impacts our community. The other reason I was so drawn to it is because I really appreciate the boundaries and the protection that the ABC Commission gives. So you will never see in North Carolina one community saturated with alcohol or liquor stores. You won't see it because we don't saturate certain communities. Where I'm from, we had 3 liquor stores in just one community.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, if someone should come into the store inebriated, we will get you help. We will not sell to you, and we will get you help. Okay. And so it's just the responsibility that comes with alcohol that I'm really appreciative of.
Gotcha. No, that's amazing. I was wondering, and you took the words right out of my mouth. Essentially, I'm like, how does a PK become chairman of the ABC board?
It was a conversation. When I told my dad, I was like, hey, Dad, listen to what I'm about to do. He's like, so you're going to push alcohol? And I was like, well, not really. Like, I'm not really asking the people to, drink. But if you do,
right,
where the money goes.
Right. Well, Dad, Jesus turned water into wine.
Come on now. You better preach. You better preach.
All right, Mo, let me back you up 1 second before Darren dives in deep. So your current role is county commissioner? No,
so I'm actually a candidate. So yeah, I won the primary. I have to win the general. I'm feeling really, really good about it. So I will be county commissioner.
Good.
In Mecklenburg County, yes. And we oversee over 1.2 million people. So I'll be over my district, which is about 200,000 people. And I'm excited. I have a district that we have a high crime rate in part of the district.
Okay.
I have lived experience. I'm from an inner city area where I have that experience and I know how to move us out of it. So I'm excited.
Good.
And I have no doubt that she's going to win. One thing I failed to mention is she has 100% win rate on everything that she's run for in the city of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County. So why not keep the streak going? So we have all the confidence in the world that you're going to win yet again.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it.
So let's dive in just a bit. And I know we're going to talk about things on the political level from a national perspective. but we'd be remiss if we didn't discuss just some things that are going on locally there in Charlotte. One of the biggest news items that kind of recently developed is Mayor Vi kind of announcing that she is going to be resigning from her position as mayor. She's been mayor for this is term number 2 or
3. I'm not
3.
sure, and I should know that.
But no, it's all good. She's been mayor for a while.
Yes,
And so for her to announce that in June that she's kind of given it up, I think it came as a shock to a lot of us. I no longer live in Charlotte, but I still have an ear to the streets in Charlotte. I have a lot of friends and family there. And so it caught me by surprise as well. And literally yesterday around the dinner table, my brother and I, along with his girlfriend, we were just sitting there talking about this and the impact it will have on Charlotte, and even some possible suitors for the role once she's no longer in it. Kind of give me or us your thoughts about that. I mean, without diving in too deep, or as deep as you'd like.
Right.
We know you have a race going on, so we don't want to.
Exactly. You're not going to catch me out here right now.
We're not catching you slipping. You're going to keep it very above the ground.
This will show up somewhere else. Like, look what she said. No, you're not going to catch me. But to answer your question, and your question is, what do I feel about the?
Yeah.
So I feel that Mayor Lyles has done an amazing job. I think that we have some really strong people who can take the baton. That is something that we really have to really look at and do better across the board in politics, is succession planning. Making sure that when you're ready to go, that you have somebody in place who is prepared and ready to take the baton, so we don't lose footing in this space. We don't have time right now to lose footing. So she's done an amazing job. One thing that I did notice, and I had to log off of Facebook for a moment, is how many people don't understand her role. So people, some people are saying some really harsh things, saying she didn't do this and didn't do that. And I hear that not just with her race, but even in my own race. Yeah. I remember when Vice President Harris was running, a gentleman said, "I'm not voting for her because look at my street." And I'm like, well, no, she doesn't really, Vice President Harris doesn't manage your street. Right. But a lot of people don't know. And so a lot of things that Mayor Lyles may have taken a lot of heat for, it wasn't in her scope of work. Charlotte has a city manager who is the CEO of the city. And in my opinion, is the most powerful person in the city. It's not the mayor. The mayor has a lot of influence, but your city manager makes and creates everything that we do in the direction of the city. Right. Our city council votes on it. So I think she's done a tremendous job. I think she has left an amazing legacy in our community. I think she has really set us in a good position moving forward. And I'm excited to see who takes next.
No, that's great. And I think you're spot on in terms of the city manager kind of being the CEO, right, really of the city of Charlotte. And not only that, and I hate to say this, but the compensation for a city manager actually shows that compared to, the role of a mayor or even commissioners or councilmen or council people. So yeah, I totally get it. Now, in her stepping down, was there going to be do you know whether there's going to be a special election to fill the role, or is someone going to pop in on an interim basis? How does that work?
Yeah, it's no special election. And it's interesting because I see a lot of people jockeying for the position right now. And really the way the interim mayor selected is the city council members vote on who should, who they want to appoint to the seat. So again, there's so much talent in Charlotte, so they're not short of talent. So it'll be very interesting. They probably will select somebody who's already on city council serving. We have some tremendous people. I think so many of them are qualified. Just watching city council meetings and just kind of seeing the direction and kind of what needs to happen. Victoria Watlington, she's a current city councilwoman. I think she's amazing. She is super smart. And I don't know if she's going to go for it, but I would love to see her, take the baton.
So it's not automatically a bump up of the mayor pro tem.
Nope, nope. They will vote on who is the next interim mayor.
Okay, got
Yep.
it.
And then that person will serve out the whole term. And then we have the election.
And then just defining your role. I'm claiming it. Defining your role. It really is the equivalent of the city manager for the county, correct?
So, well, no. So no. So you have your county manager, and then you have your city manager. Now they're parallel roles.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah, I would be an elected official, so kind of on the board. So yeah, basically the board of the county.
Got it. Got it. Good deal. Good deal. So when you think about Charlotte and the time that you spent there, and you all still make the claim of being the new South, it really and truly is. What's the big issue there? In your mind, you mentioned public safety as one of them, and what do you really think is the biggest? Is it public safety? Is it affordable housing? What's on your mind?
So I'll be over a specific district. So I want to speak specifically to my district.
Yeah.
So I have a district that's incredibly diverse. So not only do we have the bulk of the homicides, we also have very, very high wealth in certain parts. So it is a very unique district. So when I look at exactly what is needed, number one, I believe that lives need to be saved. We cannot continue to lose Black boys and Black young men and Black older men to homicides and crime and drugs. We just can't continue to do it, because I'm a firm believer that, men are the backbones. They are the leaders of our community. And so we have to have them well, and we have to have them healthy if we want to have a healthy society and a healthy community. So that's the first one, is we have to reduce the crime in our community. That comes from access to jobs. When there are jobs and when there's economic development in an area, it is proven over and over again that crime will go down. Right. So I see a lot of, things popping up, economic development things popping up in other areas of Charlotte. So I'm excited, and I'm ready to say, what about us? And not only what about us, but let's go ahead and get us in the game, and let's go ahead and make sure that we're getting the same equitable amount of development that other people have. So public safety, also mental health. Again, when you think about, and a lot of people don't know this, but children born in the inner city have higher rates of PTSD than veterans. Wow. So when you think about the compassion that we show veterans and the lack of compassion that we show children in the inner city, oh, they're just bad, they're just acting out. Well, no, when a child has seen more violence, community violence, by the age of 5 than most adults, that is an impact. And I know, because I grew up in the inner city, there are some things that are still very triggering for me, even now as an adult who has learned many things, who's experienced many things. Wow. So mental health, access to healthcare, public safety, and then food. In my district, less than 26% of the homes are within a half mile to food. Food is not a privilege; it is a right that we should all have. And so we've got to get some stores. We've got to get food access in our community. Yes. So those are my main priorities, and of course, always the seniors. We have a lot happening in this community, but I'm excited. I am really excited, because I know that we're going to do big things, and we're going to make some major turnarounds.
It's great.
That's great. It's interesting. You said a lot of key things, but a couple of them that kind of caught my ear, that kind of prompted me back to the conversation you and I had last week, when you talk about kind of the protecting of Black men and Black boys. But let's lean on the Black man piece for a second. You and I talked about this, not knowing that we were going to do this tonight or when. Just a conversation we had, because there's this misnomer in regards to this current administration. I'm on a national level now, that Black men kind of are the cause of this administration being in place. There's this misnomer that Black men kind of are the reason why Kamala Harris lost the presidency. And you and I had this conversation in relative detail about that. Let's kind of talk about that just a bit.
Yeah, it's just not true. And I think that society tries to use black men as the scapegoat. And I'm not saying this because I'm on a podcast with two black men. I'm being very serious when I say this. When we look at black men and kind of the position they're put in society, they're often a scapegoat. Just like black women are often used to be the one who is the strong one, push everybody, move everyone. Black men are often the scapegoat. And when you look at the statistics on why Vice President Harris won, the narrative was, oh, you have this drove of black men who are not voting for Vice President Harris, which wasn't true. 80% of black men voted for Vice President Harris. But I think, and I'll always say that Trump is a master when it comes to marketing and promotion. And he kept going to all of these black barbershops and talking to the black churches. That's really a small, very small amount of people he was talking to.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so it wasn't the black men that did that. 80% of black men voted for Vice President Harris. It was white women who turned out for Trump. And that's how we got in this place. And ladies better start talking to their girlfriends because we have midterms coming up and it's going to be the same thing. What I learned is that people will tell you something, you know, when I'm talking to them, they'll say, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for Vice President Harris. But then when they got in the voting booth, they did something totally different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, as much as we hate to see the place society is in now, maybe we've got to, you know, we got to just fall. Maybe we just have to fall apart and everybody gets hurt in order for us to make a change.
Are we not there now, Mo? Where I'm looking at the news. I'm looking at my own grocery bills. I'm looking at the gas tank. I'm hurt now.
Listen, every time I think we have hit a bottom, I turn on the news and there's a new bottom every day. So when I always feel like we have gone, and when you look at what's happening, you know, black women are leading the pack and people have lost jobs. It's just, I mean, we're just in a state right now. But again, if I said today was the worst day, tomorrow I'll turn on the news and it'll be another worse day. So, yeah.
It's interesting. And I think media plays a role in this. And I don't care what side of the media fence you sit on. You know, it was CNN, and I'm just going to call it what it is, primarily CNN, talking about Gallup polls and straw polls and things of that nature. And again, everything was leaning Kamala Harris while they were talking about these polls, while white women, regardless of how they feel or felt about their spouses, because a lot of them are like, you know, he's a provider, we don't get along, whatever. But when it comes down to the voting booth.
Hey guys, this is DB with the Soul of a Man podcast. Hey, we really appreciate you guys rocking with us all these months. The feedback has been amazing. We hope to continue to bring you amazing content. We need a huge favor from you though. We need you to like. I think that like button is somewhere right here. We need you to share. I think it's right here maybe. And we need you to subscribe. Come on guys, keep rocking with us and share this content. And we want to reach millions. We appreciate you.
The majority of the time, they're going to vote with their spouses. And
Absolutely.
That's what happened. And I think you're absolutely right. So as the media is going out, taking these straw polls, Gallup polls or whatever, and they're asking, you know, white women, so who do you plan on voting for? And they say Kamala Harris. But the moment they get behind that, I'm aging myself now, the curtain, but they don't do that anymore. And they pull that lever, they don't do that anymore. That vote went to Donald Trump. And it went to him with the resounding margin of victory, honestly. Mm-hmm. And so you talk about that, then you talk about my Latino brothers and sisters, and particularly down in the South Florida area, who have been known to predominantly vote Republican. And then there's some pockets around, other places around the United States. I think we kind of got hoodwinked. And now in doing so, this kind of leads me to my next point. They are, and I say they as in terms of this administration, they're trying to skew and sway this upcoming midterm election.
Oh, yeah.
And so with everything going on in the Supreme Court with their ruling, I think it's even more important that we as a community and we get the word out, first of all. And secondly, we get to the polls no matter what it is we have to do. Come hell or high waters, we have to get to the polls. Because the best thing that could happen out of this is he becomes a lame duck president. The worst thing that can happen out of this is we're exactly where we are today, where he has the House, Senate, and the presidency, obviously, for another 3 years, essentially. Let's kind of dive into that to talk about the importance of us getting to the polls, the things they're trying to do to keep us away from the polls, and the potential impact it will have should we do so.
Sounds good. But I want to back up on just something you mentioned, because I think the same thing happened to the Latino community that we did with Black men. So you didn't have a huge portion of Latinos. And when we group Latinos in one group, then it looks like, but they're not a monolith. So you may look at Cubans. Cubans usually vote Republican. But it's just like in the Black community, people from different African countries. Now, when they say Black voters, they're talking about Black Americans, Cameroonians, Nigerians, Liberians. They're putting everybody in one bucket. Haitians, everybody. But a lot of times people from Caribbean islands, they also vote Republican. So I'm always very careful to say which group of people voted for Trump, because it can be a little bit skewed. But what we do know is that a lot of white women did turn out. Now, that's what we do know. But when you start to look at, and I asked some of my white girlfriends, like, now, what did your girlfriends do? Because my 92% didn't do that. So what are you all doing over there? And so they had some very interesting, gave me some really interesting feedback about that. But when we look at what do we need to do with this upcoming election, you're exactly right. We absolutely have to get to the polls no matter what. But we also have to take responsibility for why people are not voting. So if I go to McDonald's and I say, hey, I want a bacon cheeseburger, and they give me a bacon cheeseburger, but then it's all of this stuff on it I don't really like. Is it my fault or is it their fault? Well, I didn't tell them what I like. And so they gave me what I asked for. It's the same thing with politics. We're in a situation where we have a bad product. We have a very bad product when it comes to politics, because we're asking people to vote, but then they're looking around their community and the community still looks the same. We're asking people, especially Black people, to go and vote, but then we see that we're the primary ones incarcerated. We're the ones with the highest debt. We're the ones that's dying of everything first. Nobody is really fighting for us. It's all of these things. So we have to really start to make this message make sense to the people. We cannot just tell people go and vote. I can honestly say in my campaign, and no one thought I would win, I was running against an 17-year incumbent who had competition many times before. Everyone always lost. I did not ask anybody to vote for me. I didn't go out. That was never my thing. I never said, hey, can you vote for me? I said, what can I do for you? What do you need? What does your community look like? What's not working for you in your community? Tell me how you'd like for me to fix it if I get the seat. So that's a whole different approach that we need to really start to look into, which is stop just telling people to vote, but hey, what do you need from me? What do you need from the system? How is the system not working for you? And this is how you can make the system work for you. So we've got to look at the product we're selling. The product we're selling is trash, and I'll just be honest. I'll say it that way.
It's funny. Jay-Z had a song out many years ago called "Politics as Usual," and it's crazy the relevancy of that song to this day, because it is in some cases politics as usual, and we're still selling the same garbage that we sold even before Obama. And so I don't know how we change that, but then also I don't know from a Democratic Party, and I'll say it on this podcast, I vote primarily Democrat. I lean center on things that are in terms of fiscal responsibility, but I am very social as it relates to some of the societal ills and social things that go on and social justice. So I lean very liberal when it comes to that. But what I'm trying to understand from a Democratic perspective is, and from the party perspective, is like, who are the leaders that are going to step up and grow a set. I'm just trying to figure out the right words here.
Yeah.
And really lead this party to where it needs to be, back to a party of prominence, because I think it's lost some of its luster on the national level.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't, this current administration, especially after their first time in, wouldn't be back in again.
Right.
Right.
How do we do that? I mean, obviously there's some things that's beyond the three of us on this show tonight, but at the same time, I think we all still have a voice and whatnot.
Right. We've got to stop looking for a savior. That's the bottom line. We can't look for the Democratic Party to, and I'm a Democrat, but we can't look for the Democratic Party to solve all of our issues. I've been very involved in the Democratic Party, but I also see the gaps. So when you look at the agenda, if we're trying to get Black voters up, and let's just say we're talking about Black voters, if we're trying to get Black voters up and engaged, well, that's not really their agenda priorities. So, it's a lot of reproductive justice. It's, they're talking about a lot of the redistricting issues and those types of things and voter disenfranchisement, but that's not going to help my cousin on the local level. And if you can get people involved in the local level, then you can get them involved on a federal level. But I have to be our own savior. I am all about save ourselves at this point. We can't go and say, hey, go vote for this person who's running. We can't do that because they don't even see their own community. So when you ask who is the leader, it's you. You're the leader. You are the leader. Look into your own family. I'm sure you don't have 100% of voter participation in your family. I don't. And so when we start to talk about who is going to lead us, it's you, it's me, it's everybody that's going to watch this podcast. We have to start within our own circles, our own family. Now,
when you talk about truly getting people involved on a local level, what does that look like? No, because immediately folks are going to say, "Well, I'm not political," or I'm not going to run for office. I don't have interest in being a political figure or a politician. But what does that look like? How simple could that be as a step to get people engaged?
I'll be honest. I'm really an anti-politician. So that's what made it such a surprise that I'm in. It's like I'm not one that's going to walk the line or say what you need me to say and all of those things. I'm not. It's just not me. I'm here for a purpose, and that's to get people's community better. So the vehicle to get it done is voting. And the vehicle that I have to get it done is to sit at a table. But, and that's the one thing I'll be very honest. I was just telling another elected official, I'm struggling with that only, not with the work. I understand the work. I understand all of that. But how do I find the space where, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm not willing to play political games. I'm not willing to be, to be this puppet or play chess games with people. I'm just not, that's just not me. So when we look at how do we get the younger people involved, we really have to change. We have to do an entire revamp of the system. So for example, a lot of elected officials and a lot of people go, in the Democratic Party, everybody does, if you knocked on 1,000 doors, that was great. Well, my campaign, for an example, I didn't go by how many doors I knocked on. It was how many people did I speak to. That's a very small change. So they'll say, we knocked on 20,000 doors, but you didn't speak to anybody, because I know I'm not answering the door for you. I don't know anybody who's answering the door for anybody in this day and age. So we have to really revamp how are we reaching everybody. We need to be more, our digital footprint needs to be far heavier. We need to be on Facebook, social media, TikTok, every other thing that we can get on. That's where the message is. We have to start using digital more than we do. Because just this, mail-in flyers and all of these things, it's not really effective.
Hey, Chill, you're on mute, brother.
Mo, you beat out a 3-time incumbent. How badly did you smoke him or her digitally?
Okay, so ask me that again. So, well, it was actually more than, humbly, it was more than 3 times. But you know, it was just, we got to have our facts right on here. So humbly, it was more than 3 times, but she's amazing, though. I will say that she's done tremendous things for our community, though.
Yeah.
So when you say digitally, we ran a very strong digital campaign, and I'm also a political strategist for other people. One campaign I ran pretty much 90%, and they won pretty much a 90% digital campaign because they didn't raise a lot of funds.
Mm-hmm.
But I did a lot of radio interviews, was doing a lot of Facebook posts, a lot of Instagram posts, all of these things. I was doing a lot just to reach the masses.
Yeah. And that's where people are getting their information now.
Yeah. Wrong information or right information. Right. That's where people are getting the information. Yeah.
I can tell you what's not working, and that's me going to my mailbox every day and having 10,000 pieces of mail.
Well, I do that too now, because I said somebody gonna read this postcard.
You know what? I am probably not your typical 60-year-old, Mo. I am pretty tech savy, and I don't want to read a physical piece of mail. That's going in the garbage. So I'm on your digital side of this.
Noted, because that costs a lot of money. It does cost a lot of money, and it is cheaper. I did a lot of text messaging campaigns too. I did a lot of text messaging. Because I knew that would reach people. And can I just say this sidebar so you all know this?
Yeah, please.
If you receive a text message from somebody and you try to put something hateful in the comments, like back, where just hit stop. Don't say anything, because we get that report. I can see exactly what you said about me, and I can see your phone number. So if I'm feeling a little saucy or sassy that day, I might call you back and say, now, what did you say? Like, you want to say that again? Like, what you say in the text? So, just be very mindful that, your number is attached to what you said. So,
and I'm going to say this, Mo. If certain people text me, I am going to say something back, and I want you to call me. Please.
Don't trigger this one. Don't trigger this guy.
I'm trying to be good tonight.
That's fair.
So Mo, in your district, and this kind of goes to the growth of Charlotte. Mm-hmm. And Charlotte, Darren and I both have tons of friends and family in Charlotte. And it's one of those cities that at this point is, I hate to make the comparison to Atlanta, but you hear Atlantans say, we don't want any more. Stay away. Don't come here. And I hear Charlotteans say the same thing. So with all of the influx in your district, are you seeing gentrification in your district?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. My neighborhood, I didn't even realize my neighborhood was so gentrified until I started canvassing. And as I'm knocking on the doors, I'm like, oh, so nobody really looks like me over here. Okay. And I didn't realize that because I've been here for so long. When I first moved to Charlotte, I was an outpatient counselor for children that were at risk. And they all lived in this community, and they were all, all of them were low socioeconomic positionings. And so I don't know why. I mean, I know the community has changed, but I didn't realize how significant the change was until I started knocking on doors, and I thought, wow, this is really interesting.
Wow.
So you said something, and back to the digital piece, and this is kind of leads me into a conversation that you and I had as well, Mo. How much will AI play a role in campaigning going forward? Which will, once you answer that, it will lead me into my next question.
Yeah, it's already here. I remember, I think it was 2 campaigns ago, so it would have been about 2 years ago. A company who does AI reached out to me. They wanted to do AI phone banking and, some different things like that. We're using AI in so many different capacities within the political space. I still feel like we have to have that human connection. And I always say, like, AI, all of these, robocalls and digital, all of these things, it tests your temperament, because I know if I call somebody and I'm getting an AI voice and then they don't understand what I'm saying, it's testing my temperament. And so it's wearing me down. So I don't think that is I think it's necessary, but I think we have to be mindful of how we use it.
Okay. And so as AI continues to progress globally, but in particular in the U.S. and certainly on a local level, i.e., a Charlotte, Raleigh, wherever, you have data centers.
Yeah.
And this is a conversation that you and I had. A lot of people don't understand the true impact of data centers. A lot of people don't understand that data centers have been around forever.
Yeah.
They're just now starting to really kind of complain about these data centers and the amount of energy they're taking and things of that nature. While, we have some people who are off in space trying to shoot energy back and get filthy rich as a result of
Yeah.
these. But I still think, they are necessary and they've been around forever, where a lot of people don't actually grasp that. Let's kind of dive into that really quick, especially on a local level and also a political level.
Yeah. So here in Charlotte, that's a really big topic right now. I'm not exactly sure why it has taken it's taken a life of its own right now. And anybody who knows me knows I love an advocate. I don't appreciate an advocate who's not educated on the topic. And it's too much of that. It's too much of people, advocating, they're saying they hate data centers and all of these things. I had someone who actually, said, well, answer me. Do you believe in data centers? Now, first of all, let's not talk to me like that, because you'll never get it. Like I said, I'm not the politician that's going to go for that type of behavior. So it's like, hold on. But the reality is what I'm learning, and I'm actually hosting a session on data centers on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. I have two experts, one who builds data centers and one who's an environmentalist. Because before we advocate and say we don't like something, we have to know about it.
Right.
So a data center, if you use Netflix, if you use Amazon, if you use Google, if you say, hey Siri, if you go to the hospital and they ask for your name and you give them your name and all of your information comes up, all of that is tied to a data center.
Yes,
So when people say they don't believe in a data center, I'm like, well, no, that's not really true, because you're on Facebook. So all of these things are tied to data centers. But what we need to be concerned about are your hyperscale data centers. And that's, where you're doing all of the AI, the cloud, all of these things, because they're using a massive amount of water.
Yep.
They're using a massive amount of energy.
Yep.
Me having a healthcare background, my major concern is the health impact it has on a community. So, for example, large scale, hyperscale data centers, they make this humming sound because it's cooling. So if you have a 2.5, and I'm thinking about a data center they're planning to build here, is 2.5 million. They bought 2.5 million acres of land. And when you think about that, or land space to develop on that space, when you think about that and you think about this humming sound, that contributes to anxiety, hypertension, chronic issues, sleep disturbances, all of these things. So we have to come up with a better solution on how do we appreciate technology, how do we continue to develop and grow and not kill people in the process. So we've got to figure out the balance.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's I think a lot of people either don't understand that, haven't done, like you said, enough research to have a true grasp of it, and not only that, instead of trying to make it go away because it's not going anywhere, how do you make it better? Since we kind of have to have them. To me, that's where the focus should be. So that's real interesting. If someone wanted to tune in to your meeting, and chances over time this airs, your meeting would have happened. So if they want to watch it afterwards, is there a way to do that?
So it probably so I didn't plan to record it. I could record it.
Okay.
So actually, I may do that. Thank you for giving me more work. I'll make sure it's recorded, and so I'll make sure it's posted as well. Maybe I'll post it on our website.
Perfect.
But yeah, I'll definitely make sure it's recorded.
Good deal. So as we start to wrap here, a couple things. Number one, we get to Charlotte at least a couple times a year to record. we got to get you again.
I would love that.
In person.
I would love
By then, I would assume by the time that happens, you'll be county commissioner.
Claim it.
I mean, listen, don't wait too long. I'm going to start getting popular now.
Hey, we want you to be popular.
Just don't forget us when it happens.
We want to say, I remember when.
Right.
Yeah, and I love it. Absolutely.
The PK from Buffalo who attended South Carolina State.
Absolutely.
And she became something anyway.
But I would love to. I would definitely love to join you all again for sure.
No, that's great. So as we close out, you certainly get the last word. Talk about the importance of voting, going to the polls, whatever it is you want to discuss. Put your information out there so people know how to follow you and hear about what you stand for and learn more about what you stand for. The floor is yours before we close out.
All right. Well, first, I want to say thank you all so much for the work you do and for having a podcast that uplifts people. You know, we have enough bashing and things that just don't serve our community or our spirits well. So thank you all so much for what you do. What I would ask everyone is to find 2 people who you know that are not registered to vote and make sure that you are educating them on the importance. Don't ask them to vote, but just ask them what do they need from you to understand why their vote is important. So I want us to really change the narrative and how we're approaching voting and how we're approaching the conversations. Also, use your Facebook and your social media for good. You know, we got enough, conversation about Meg the Stallion and everybody else. We got enough conversation about it. So if we can start using our Facebook to really promote truthful information, let's be the guards of that. So those are the things I would ask. And remember, when we're asking who is the leader, it is you. You are the leader. And so we have to start taking our position in this community and in our society. We have to take it seriously. We can't look for other people to be our savior because they've never saved us. And we have to be very honest about that. We have always saved ourselves. So why are we expecting different? So we have to really, really start to approach. We are our own help right now. And so if you are looking for me, you can find me on Facebook, Monifa Mo Drayton. Everybody calls me Mo, except my mom when she's angry. But these days it doesn't it doesn't happen too often. But look for me on Facebook, Monifa Mo Drayton. Also my website is www.modraytonforcountycommission.com. And if you have an email, let me give my number. If you want to email me, info@modraytonforcountycommission.com. And I'd love to hear from you. If you have any ideas, I'm all ears. I'd love to hear from you.
Fantastic.
You know what?
Go ahead.
That's wonderful. Mo, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on the Sober Man podcast tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. Again, we look forward to coming to Charlotte, having a sit down with you in person. If there's anything we can do from a podcast perspective to help you get the word out, whatever it is you need, we're here for you. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. And soulmates, thank you for joining us and watching this episode. This has been the Sober Man podcast. I'm DB. That's my guy, Chill. We're out.